Abizuamu bibia kwa ba fambrel 2K ni some blogs o YouTube so say as usual yaba. Ensem ahodo a ekoso e Ghana ase na de ba beso me hwefo ne tiefo nyina na abusua we ensem bia ba betodwa chese yenyine nim say getting closer to election day no ensem ahodo bibia na ekoso Ghana ase efa enkom share any predictions any ade ekoso no na we osofo ba kon so atwini abusua wade ensem bi aba betodwa wa chirechi mu akasa winner for the election no ene enyoma bi a wase Ghana fo nyine timi ho prophets ensem o mokeka no ne nyina abusua wa chirechi nyoma bibrem na mepese ye benya bre beje bre pe ne yebeko ne akwakotie ne ensem ne bi ede aba abusua ba betena ase ne di ensem no ho enkomo
saying asama prof e kan ya ne se one de ohwe ade na ohun nipa na oteso no no ane da so teso hu change bia ho in fact me yam shame pa because mun say media ne bias mun bi adanse say pending TV any papa ya we see hey or no dey bias me yam shame nti man person me push him kra because papa no da so teso say papa ya pesi tu no ya na we ka say dey cause twa say na busia ekoba ye no na papa no kwan ya ofa so betina so no abetena so and what she samba hane prof e betwin komo prof ka kire say yes nipa nde na so teso wafa kwan bia so abetena so nanso so because of saade na e course no nti because akonya na nkanya ne dia eye owura mahamadiya the person nyina muhu ensem a nkomodidia akoso eni nti na ma me kasa bibde na nyesa me kasa na e wasa de be ya ube appreciating komo a yebedi ni sisi ano
absolutely
na prof kachire say die e course no enye no kwan so nanka aba no e wo say e ko omanpanyi mahama nchen but omo fa kwan bi so energy feeling some esan tena ade so nti sunsun wiase no obi anti akonya no so na omo di asam e wo hunhun na esan saade nti omanpanyi akufu ado ade bia wode ne nsa be som 2021 to 2024 enyi yida eye papa krampo asaade no ebe dane adane bone anim guase de amam mpacho sa interviews ni nyina no menum ka say e wo honum sisi a o ko pending TV a obenya bi ahwe na yenyina edi adanse se from sa brenu ebepon enne on the mpacho the details toza third one good 3rd December and the 3rd December menum atwetwe nkomo yi no yenyina edi adanse se from 2021 I swear in President Akufo-Addo bepermanent ade papa bi anu a waya ana ade bi anu ode nsa so mu asa ade no aye animonyam de amane da in fact ade no to say animonyam fe na apaska na adane nguase bi dia koma no betie so makoto train fofo aba chese ni eboye nsema mampo social media dey now do say train no kwa no akọ crash it kia na blast ade na jiagu chese omanpanyi hwe nansia de siye ne statue okusi ye chese bia basa chese bibi odi nsa bi so bia no na akoye basa na akoye dani aduguase enne abusua enkomo aye ne ba betwetwe no e kire say ye ba ye no ye sane no betwetwe nkomo biom this year ya ema prof ka kire ye say elections no omanpanyi John Dramani Mahama be win elections na ne oka ye kra atwa me nso mu so say ebebo 9 o'clock in the fence 9 p.m. on 7 December no ye to abanu by 9 p.m. na sa fence Ghana hanu de na obi ahu say John Dramani Mahama were winning elections.
Absolutely.
Prof. Assembly na okay. Prof William Mwakwa bi.
Sa pepe.
Na ntaka sa no so a. Ma chef for ente o me start to me bomb. Say you are talking too much because neno Charlie I will do a dance here say data to iodine. Ti o kasa bibli sa na say nipa no person T prof now man nkasa no adwalai Prof.
Absolutely.
Only a common teaching oh my yes on the 9th. On the 7th December
7th
by
December.
9 p.m. Na Opambour John Dramani Mahama Ghana how be who say we win election.
Win election. Yeah.
Sunday we na me wo Kumasi Ashanti region.
All right.
Me think say Opambour Mahama so kasa. Ewo bedwanase.
Oh, okay.
Na all kasa no asem ono so kai no ene say nyame ya adomo a on the 7th December no ento ha kobo 9 o'clock na Ghana fu nyina nim say NDC awini elections.
Memenda ebedwa na jo be no kono na NDC kuni die na chi bebia.
Who dina me say Prof one wako ka kire Opambour Mahama na say like there na ekoso we can be kire there na ekoso because as a politician we say election we to abawia ye can kai abano ebebo na anye en kan du ba bia kra na e ka no say parliamentary no kra no bia nka ani du wi ti say utimi ka kire me say sa bre no na obi ahu say NDC awinia say prophet tell me na Jesus and e ka kire me ka so ka hu asem na Opambour Mahama o politician experience one ade na also ko kasa asem me say na prof na ni na ko twin komo prof we there na ekoso
Okay. Media so me charity for you na. Mo say they really like to talk to me a lot. I'm per say member more times to come and communicate here. And when it comes to that communication, say as I prophesied at 9, Mama so says the same thing at 9 based on the Ashanti region as you said. And with the yes, and they will 9 p.m., which is it will happen in real life 9 p.m. On the side, no, unless they really ask him that question. This is that 9, no, on your free.
Ana Opambour John Dramani Mahama o pending TV pa. Okay, me aware say we catch them say o pending TV pa. Yes, we catch them say Opambour John Dramani Mahama o pending TV pa. Sa so no be catch them say Julius Debra, the former chief of staff and I can yeah on also so yes o pending TV pa. General Asidu Ketia. Chairman General or no so yes or just a pending TV there on fan Niagara. In fact, when say paying for no be share. So I am sure such information will be every
pending TV. Okay.
And I mean say prophets no so no. Mostly ebimu etimi confirm and send be at the chiro. Aha, say be a prophet washem komu no. That's it. Share the same common answer bit me be confirm me on commission no actually no e mani na video say no as soon as you aka na we have confirm actually media let us say no correct
absolutely
entino say okojina simpie so a onsuru say obeka
you see ni far for say obetu boabo
na let us say nice be so
absolutely
abuja we dey assign be sa prof say yehwe kwan mu ade e na ekos because they be asa na mo fa bi sam na ade na asesa na prof ye person hu woni no nko twetwe nkomo prof say na nse kwa me send some audio so na ma for send
am send yes
enti ama mo frame bi sam de bia amanfo ehunu a ewo mu nyina mu ni say enne ubetie prophet we no we say ade no in the realms asesa afeju akodi ba onwansam ade na omo pe osunsun ba omia papa eni Mahama papa e wa asamando se ntimi wa asamando se awudu medie no se he for mo boxing we twe tumi we so twe nti ade ni si akodi Mahama so nchen Mahama ni kuda ade ni si but still shaky se obi a ne prophet we beka
na wa so beka
waje we say wasaje na de we say da bi asadane enti ama Ghana for say da hu de ekọ
so
enti obi afa ni obi sa me say a prof so de na woka ade na adane ana say ndane ye ojina ba bi ojina because prof de mu say nyame adom de woka no nyame de ye adwuma
absolutely
enti enne mayihu de ba ha oni ye twetwe nkomo de wokọ Accra FM ko kae no abusua ye bisa prof say etesen
absolutely. All right then. So on side, no, mainly there's a lot of things that has gone on within the angles. Things have, been very, very strange in the realm of the spirit. I've seen quite a lot of strange happenings, which is happening in the realm of the spirit. And mainly, the Amoako, say, with regards to the election, the changes and every other thing that happens in the election is that there are two prophetic instincts in the dimensions of time. There are prophets that are basically prophets that are moving in a prophetic way. One two things. And there are prophets that walk and move through the fourth dimension. The prophets that are really four-dimensional prophets, like Enoch, John the Revelator.
So it's the first one now. What's the first one? No,
like the fourth tellers, those people that believe that I'm declaring something and it's going to happen. And to work around it so that it will happen, what they have said. And then there's some of us like Enoch, Ezekiel, John the Revelator, Daniel, and all those people. We have the capacity to see the end, how it is concluded. And once we tell you, say, this is it, whatever you do, just relax. Nothing will change what we have said. That's how I told you the last time. The reason is we have seen the way God works with us is He shows us the conclusion of the whole matter. So when we know, okay, by identifying the conclusion of the whole matter, or try to say this, that, move this, move that, and move this, and then it will be in line. That's how we figure out the timeline. Because we have been able to, by the grace of God, master the fourth dimension. We see through time itself. And we can bend the time and manipulate time. So if the prophet that says God has revealed to him that something is changing or something else has happened, is speaking in that regard, is an understanding, say, if the person is not fourth dimensional, which means he has not attained the fourth dimensional capacity. Ezekiel chapter 47, he said, he brought me to the outer courts and I saw a pool like water. He said, I walked into it and the angel measured 1,000 cubits and it was up to the ankle level. I moved forward and he measured another 1,000 cubits and it was up to the knee level. And then he measured another 1,000 to the loins level, which means waist level. And then he measured another 1,000 cubits and it was a water that man could not swim through, which means water that a man cannot cross, which was an overflow. Good measures pressed down, shaking together and running over. That's the fourth dimensional thing, the seal. Which means when you are burning your spirit and ascending to the divine altar of God, there are four dimensional flows. If a person is able to master the fourth dimension, which simply means that I won't teach the knowledge of the fourth dimension in its fullest capacity, but I'll give you a glimpse of it. Yes, because that's what happens. Once I teach something and bring out the prophetic order, somebody will make a whole sermon out of it and say they are the everything we say goes here. That is not because I don't want anybody to know. I'm just saying it so that at least for time's sake, so that I can by the grace of God. So in the act of the fourth dimension, you realize that finally, once you master the fourth dimension, which is the last angle, like right? Every ordinary human being, when I sleep, I don't dream, I wake up. Like Ezekiel. At the river of Sheba, at the Chaldeans, Ezekiel chapter 1, when he saw the living creatures and the heaven and the host of heaven. John the Revelator, when he was also at the Isle of Patmos, he saw these revelations through sleep. Daniel spoke about a revelation that even has to do with, I laid this thing, it's a vision of my head on a bed. He is sleeping yet awoken. That's that dimension. Ezekiel was picked by God and said, Son of man, what do you see? I see an almond tree. That's a communication, which simply means that he is not just dreaming, he is awoken in his dream, so he understands what he's talking about. He's alive in the dream. My dreams are awoken dreams. which simply means I can dream and say I'll visit you tomorrow, and I'll really visit you, and you will see I have visited you in your dream. In real life. Because the dream.
And it just said, but me akase and never saw or die.
Yeah.
Now I'm pastor so nipa beso that I know best.
You see me there, yes. Because I'm walking, I'm here. And the make say, oh, Mr. Mesra, I'll come to your house.
Let's just say, and maybe na obinim prophet obinim. A can send me say, otimi tu ekoba bi. Ne members and be in kɔboa ɔmo nya problem otumi tu kɔboa ɔmo na kyerɛ sɛ ɛnyɛ
that's a legit prophetical order. That's what makes a person a four-dimensional capacity prophet. But that's not just the sign of the four-dimensional capacity, which means he is able to ascend like Ezekiel, like John the Revelator, like Enoch. All those people are moving with angels up and down. They can move other angles. And he also in his own powerful angle is doing his mighty things by the grace of God. Yeah. And somebody may laugh at it because I see. You know, sometimes things happen, everybody laughs about it. It's funny, but there are serious issues that are also happening. Yes. So basically, that's how that happens. You're able to, you're walking in the vision. That is what defines a true prophet. Yes, there are different kinds of prophets in that angle. In the prophetic hierarchy, you know, there are major prophets, there are minor prophets, and then every other thing. But then, where a lot of people say, oh, young prophet. When they say young prophet, the mistake people make is that they think because someone is young, is a young prophet. No. Elihu was speaking in my favorite scripture, Proverbs chapter 32, Job chapter 32, sorry. And Elihu was speaking, verse 6. And he was saying that, I was young, thou art old. I said, days should speak, a multitude of years should teach wisdom. And he responded to them. And he said, that is why I did not show my opinion. And then he said, but then there is a spirit in man, and the inspiration of the Almighty teacheth him understanding. And he said, old men are not always wise, neither do the aged understand judgment. Which means if you do and if you do does not mean you have the capacity to ascertain divine operation. You can be 1 mile long and 2 inches deep. And somebody can be 10 kilometers deep and 2 inches long, which means somebody can arrive today and have the depth that no one has had for 2,000 years. It's different dimensions and different operation depending on how much.
Like Obayan maybe about 2, 3, 4, 5 years in it, but who will be a bit more dreamy?
Absolutely.
Be a prophetic offense saying a ministry of Juma
so many years
for 30 years.
Yeah. And that's as a result of the capacity of sacrifice. How much can you uphold? How much sacrifice can you uphold? How much can you contain? Jesus said, deny yourself, pick up your cross and follow him. That's the jurisdiction that God has given to us. How much of that can you attain? How much of that grinding can you go through? And that's what brings the transformation in the levels. There are levels and there are deeper things that comes in the prophetic order. But then in that regard, for a person to wake up one morning and see election assisa, that's a different story. Secondly, in the depth of the prophetic hierarchy, right? Only fourth dimensional prophets has the capacity to bend time. Yes. They can manipulate and bend time. Oh, it's our work. We can bend any kind of time. Which simply means that at some point, if it becomes so difficult, by our decree, under the jurisdiction of the Almighty, we can have a discussion with God and say, God, you know what? Make this man president. And we make the decree. It is done. Because we have twisted time itself.
Is it the reason why in Tia Bempa prophet bet angel every to me declare say, look, Fremi Mama 10 days
capacity? Yes.
One Fremi, you lose the election.
Capacity. That's what I'm talking about. Prophet bet angel is a very powerful prophet. As I access the fourth dimension over the years, I've seen so many massive people. The people that can access fourth dimensional capacity in the prophetic order, there are just few people. There are just few people that are like real strong hold prophets. Not gimmicks, not manipulation, not storytelling. Fourth dimensional prophetic height is Ezekiel, Enoch, John the Revelator. You see the way all of them act the same way. Our visions were the same way. Exactly. That's how He also is. He's also fourth dimensional because I've seen him in the fourth dimension. Yes, because he's awoken whilst I was awoken. We are all awake. Other people are sleeping in the dream. They are living in an illusion. All your dreams are illusions casted by either angels, demons, or other entities. Yes. Once you are awoken, you can see the realm of the spirit as it is, and you can actually see it. As we all see it, we are always awoken. He is fourth dimensional and fourth dimensional. The other fourth dimensional.
Well, because Master, authority by now, Sabu 2 man, yes, yet, TM was a friend. One friend, you will lose election.
That is capacity.
Friend. Like, anyone, I'm going to
yeah, it's also very massive. And that's also fourth dimensional capacity. Now, mind you, say, the prophetic order remains for a very long time. The order continues from different angles. As Christ said, I am a priest after the order of Melchizedek. It follows a very long chain of operation. And that's how it is. So with that four-dimensional capacity, he has the capacity to bend time. And no two four-dimensional prophets has ever contended against each other before. You understand what that means? Which means that once one is bending, the other is bending. We don't do that. No, never. Once one is trying to bend, the four-dimensional operation in the prophetic is an agreement of the divine. Everybody has to plead their case before God. One comes with Napo, another person will come with Baumia, another person will come with John Dramani Mama, another person will come with Jean. All those people will head towards God and plead the case of God. So we have the capacity. If you would will, we will advance. So when they request, then God says, you know what? Based on that jurisdiction of the flow. Now we are in the end time flow. God is not literally going to pick you and say, you are the president. God, I have said you are the president. No. We see the outcome of the president. And that's how we see the end of the result. If you study my prophecies, I never say anywhere that God has chosen somebody to be president. Exactly. Because you have to understand the difference. The difference between me showing you what will happen in the future and me telling you who God has appointed is two different stories. Secondly, I would never sit here and tell you, say, when Mama becomes president or Baumia becomes president, they can turn Ghana into America or UK or any other location. I may be telling you a big fat lie. That is a story. That is very strong. So the ideology of understanding the independent power of the prophetic is for the person to be able to speak in his own mind, in his own will and that angle. Nobody influences his communication. Which means I cannot be a campaign officer for somebody. Or say, God has appointed Baumia the president. So by the appointment of God, God has chosen Baumia. If Baumia comes to power and does not do what is needed to be done, they will blame the name of God because we said God has appointed. So many people that use the name, God has chosen this man as the president and he has called him. It's just communication, it's English language. Okay. That's not what is happening in the realm of the spirit. We see the outcome and the pleading and the decree of the hearts of the people, where it is going to. If it will serve the best interest of everyone, and we see what it is, then we step in and bend accordingly. If we see where it is going towards the right path, we will not.
Wono obekai obechere di bisi wakufu ado amambuom nyoma ebesisi.
Yes.
Dienti na wono obekasa if say nyese ebia wono obechere say ida say ne amambu no ebe papa ana enye papa. Wono ma yihun say na amambu no ebe crash.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Because I knew the timeline and who was supposed to sit on the timeline, specific timeline 2020, who was supposed to be the president. But then in 2020, we were all bending the wheel. All of us were bending specific. Every prophet of the fourth dimension, there are few, I can count them on my 10 fingers. Everybody knows what is going on. We all looked at the thing twisted. And there are few in Ghana here. I don't want to be controversial and say something that somebody will say, hey, but few, very few, very few. And that bending is what changed that reality. People have done certain things that created a timeline. One owned the seat, but did not attain the seat. Do you understand? Which means in his timeline. Now, when I'm looking at presidents, I'm looking at their personal future. So I say, okay, this one is supposed to be president on 2020. Then you realize this one comes and bends the reality in front of our eyes and takes it with a very strong force. And once we all agree to it, it's done. In the realm of the spirit, once we are exempted, we are not interested. Whoever that is working will go with the victory. And that's how it is.
The professor, not just say, so we can say, metai with the comments, posts, social media. Na ebinom ka say oh masa mo high any prophecy na fine kusi and na de bia Ghana na mo sori na commission na we ne be president na we masa election ye spiritual election de nipa no aye ne wantumi anye e wo say nipa no wanya de ekotutia no enya afi na wo be hye me nkom se command me ana command me me amini masentinam na mehwe so ntino me ntiti mu ne ho ade no kai ma me feel say it is not all about president no and government waya dia na wanya de
spirits
bibi betumi asesa say waya dia na onya de wa bon ana on bon ye
exactly
bibi betumi a chima ma asesa ma de no or the born then not
yes in the book of 2 Kings there was a battle that went on, and during the battle the prophet came earlier in the day, and he came to prophesy that fill this valley and valley, let this valley be filled with ditches. For thou said the Lord, you shall not hear the wind nor see the rain, and your valley shall be filled with waters, and your day, yea, and your household, and your sheep and your cattle shall drink. And after I made a prophetic word, he said, as for the Moabites, the Lord will deliver them unto you. The prophet declared, Elisha declared it. Do you know, sir, when the battle began and the battle was going against the people of Israel, the Moabites, the Moab king took his son who was supposed to be in his stead, which means that the next of king, who was supposed to be the prince of the land and become king. He took him and took him to the altar, sacrificed him as a sacrifice for the altar, and the battle changed. The battle changed. That is what we are talking about, manipulations. But then Prophet Elisha had already gone, because Prophet Elisha, when he came, he was already angered. He said, haven't regarded. He said, when they came to call him earlier, he said, why don't you go to the gods of your mothers or the gods of your fathers? So the prophet came already angry. But even after the prophecy, he did not uphold the continuation of the prophecy. He just prophesied and he left them. He didn't continue. He didn't hold the prophecy. There is a prophecy that you prophesy and you sit by the prophecy. I said this thing in Accra FM. People didn't get it. When we prophesy and we sit by the prophecy, it's like a child we have delivered. We will watch it and nurture it grow. But then there's a prophecy. You drop the prophecy, ignore the prophecy, it can be bent and manipulated easily. Because once anybody comes, they will see the seal of the house of Teonas on it, which is the prophetic name of God on top of it, or any other prophetic house of Judah, house of this, house of that on top of it. So when you see the seal that this prophet has raised the banner of this man as the king, which means any prophet that beholds that knows that the prophet, this thing is coming from this house of the prophetic, which means nobody can bend and manipulate it. They look at it and say, okay, this one we agree, this one we agree, then it continues. Wow. But then if you go and take money into your pocket and you say something, there will not be any seal on it. You are just talking. It's words. God does a very funny way of betraying. I'm saying betray, no, exposing you when you are not speaking under the power.
Nti prophet Odie, measure that after elections, measure that ya wura prophetic friends dimensions ne sa nyoma na ya share that here because me won send bibia me person be bisa me kasi me bisa no be ko na amanfo so be dwan la bibia person who dey see on the 7th December. 7th December.
Absolutely.
The
7th December during election. as I said to you earlier, it's still the same thing. I told you, we see the end. When all wells have ended well, that is where we see. By 6 p.m., all the juju has failed. Sacrifices have failed. Prophecies have failed. All the deception has failed. By 8 p.m., all hearts are shaking. People are disappearing with their phones. Powers have all been transcended because there is something happening. At 9 p.m., the numbers are floating with one banner. The banner will be erected from the center of Ghana, and it will circulate toward the 16 regions. One name, one banner, one champion. From 9 p.m., everybody will feel the wave of the single name. No shaking, because the numbers are speaking for themselves. And then the atmosphere becomes quiet on that angle. By 4 a.m., people will sit together. And then calls will be going on. And in the chambers of the communication, I'm seeing the clothes they are even wearing. Oh, yeah. I'm seeing the clothes they are even wearing. And they are making calls, phone call communication. How is it going? Oh, what can be done? What can be done? It's 32. It's 32. Yes. Okay. Then they are moving up and down. Okay, we are seeing. Let's wait. More numbers are coming in. By 32. Yes, at the long run, it's still 32. Okay. The numbers are going on. Where's the other man? It's at 49. It's at 49. 49.8. Then the community. That is 4 a.m. 4 a.m. And the numbers from voter region is not even in. The numbers from the Bogatanga and all those places are not fully in, because there was some contentions that were going on. And then the battle was, you want to hear the stories, I'm taking you to the future. Smell it and feel it. As the numbers, the communication is going on. This is not yet in. This is not yet. Where is he? It's at 49.8. How? Very fast, very quick like that. Yes, that's what is the reality. 4 a.m. By the time you open your eyes in the morning, there is a phone call to say, internal affairs. Let's just leave the election and let it go. This one, we shouldn't stretch it too much. Either than that, the disappointment will be massive. Let's just let it go. And in the conclusion of the whole matter, to even exceed the 32 threshold to 40 threshold was a problem.
Wow.
Was a problem. Yes. And at the last time of the prophetic order I was checking, now I always tell people the outcome of the election is the same. But then I saw numbers were playing in my eyes. And I began to look, I said, God, why is the numbers playing? And then he said, do you remember the young tree? The plumo, the radical, the small tree. The small tree is playing the numbers. And I began to ask God, what kind of capacity does he have to be able to temper with that atmosphere? And then when I began to ask that questions, I realized that it was not an ordinary anger that was going on. So I began to ask, why is this? What is happening? What is the foundation? Why is he able to temper with the time and the reality? Then I realized that this is a very serious situation. He was tempering with numbers. I saw 57% and 39% at the conclusion of the whole election.
57%.
And the 39%. And the young plumo began to eat the 57 up to 53%. He ate the 57
wow.
to 53%. Because it came as a surprise. It took me by surprise. Yes.
57%.
It was just one tree, one person. He came through like that, and then it took over and conquered through the territory continuously. And he ate into the 50.
Wow.
57. Deep down into 53. But that time the victory was already given. The winner was already there. And others are stuck at 32, struggling to get to 39 to conclude it. It is the conclusion of the whole matter.
We say, what did be to Facebook? Na me pese me kind edichere atifo na omuti na yebisa wo say ebe so ehun asem te sen.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Let's advance. Yes.
Official Facebook account so Telvin Suwa Aji.
Absolutely.
Ghana elections. God has revealed. I saw two men heading towards a bus.
Catching the bus, yes.
One was running and the other was walking.
Okay.
The first man running arrived at 57. And the one walking arrived late and could not board the bus.
Absolutely.
On election day, the rain clouds will not rise. And John Mahama will be the president-elect. The eagle will fly this time while the elephant observes.
Absolutely.
It is established. Prophet E.S. Telvin.
It is established.
No, na we no so na opeso wuchire.
That's the conclusion of the whole vision. Yes. Two men were trying to catch up a bus. The situation is that I saw John Dramani Mahama. He was trying to go towards the bus. I didn't give the full detail because I wanted it to be short so people can read on the social media. They were holding him as if an old man that is trying to catch the bus. And Baumia was walking like how Vladimir Putin walks with some flair. So he kept walking towards a bus, a gray color bus, like ash color bus. And as he was walking towards it, all of a sudden, the mama that they were holding and trying to assist to walk just gained some energy with some energy. I don't know where it is, like some adrenaline. And started running, just left the people that were holding him because some of the people that were holding him were still delaying the people that are delaying him. So he left them and started running. And he ran straight into the bus. But then still, Baumia was walking, was moderately on the road and coming. As he was walking, by the time he could get there, the bus had already gone. Yes. That is why the election ended very fast and very quick. Very quick, very fast. And I saw one important thing in time as well. About Baumia as well. Yes. 2033. He's sitting on top of the mountain, eating a fruit of a tree. It is established.
2033.
Sitting on top of a mountain, very spiral looking, like a conical shape, with one tree on top of it. And he alone is seated there eating the fruit of the tree. That is a key in the heart of time. When the time is up, I will unlock it. It is established. Not at all. I don't have the utterance to break it down.
Adifo oni ahwefo enne wankasa mo mate ensamo a eye nyame nipa prophet Telvin Ajesu a eka na mepese me bisa no say prophecies bebre aba nano me bisa o sa asem no from senior most prophets and staff. Amanfo and Montungu. Montungu, like we should ignore those prophets who are saying Baumia is winning the elections, blah 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 blah. Bimu say Baumia winning election na yes sure ma so die. Bimu say mbro mo bi si twa muti.
Okay.
Should we ignore them?
The Bible said, men of Philadelphia, men, or Hebrews chapter 13, let brotherly love continue. So out of the foundation of brotherly love, I would say one important thing, that we want peace in Ghana. Don't burn anybody's church, because that prophecy is going nowhere. The reason is the time is already set. 4-dimensional capacities. The people that sits at the gate, the watchmen, our work is concluded. There is nothing anybody can do anywhere again.
Prof, am I for who say, yeah, dang, MP before we rig the elections? And probably a man for Kenya and say, Massa, at the end of the year, you better now some for million. And MP before so start making some utterances be a cherry